What's up guys, welcome back. I'm Charles, mXrevival, mXrevival.com, and it has been a really long time since I did an RMZ series video, so today we're going to dive back into the RMZ450 2018 and up and add another video into that video series. We're going to jump right back into where we left off. You guys had a choice between the Pro Circuit full titanium exhaust on that bike versus stock or the FCP engine mounts, and although I like both, you guys voted for the FCP engine mounts, and I have restricted myself from using these on my new bike until I could do it with you guys. So I've been riding this thing, I don't know, maybe close to a year without using these mounts, which I really love because it wouldn't be fair to do this without you. Now on a side note, all my Suzuki guys are probably here, Suzuki fanatics like me, but I should let you know that we are also building a YZ250 and you can win that sucker. So before we carry on with the Suzuki video and the FCP engine mounts, I wanted to tell you about that. You guys can check it out on mXrevival.com. So do that when you have some free time because it's going to be an epic build and you guys can actually not only win the bike, but you can win cool MX stuff all the way through. I have over 50 MX products to give away. So anyways, back to the RMZ450 and the FCP engine mounts. The best way to do this, in my opinion, is of course to ride the bike with the stock mounts in it, get some Motos in same day, and then do the mount swap to the FCP, rather than comparing it to, say, my last ride, which was about a week ago. So we're going to get a true-to-life test. We're also going to go ahead and weigh these FCP engine mounts and all of the applicable hardware. There have been some changes from when these were initially released for the bike and the way they come now. For example, the front engine mounts actually used to come with titanium hardware, and now you guys are reusing your stock stuff. And I actually ended up needing to modify mine too, so it's a bummer that they don't come with the tie hardware up front anymore, but they still do come with one titanium bolt up front, and this thing is wicked light, so I really wish they came with tie all the way around like they used to. Regardless, we'll go ahead and get everything weighed up for you. We'll weigh the FCPs in the shop today, and when we get back from riding, we'll have everything loose, so we'll be able to weigh the stock ones and compare. As an added bonus, guys, we're going to go ahead and fix up the hardware I'm going to use to hang these FCP engine mounts. It's the used stuff out of my 18, so we're going to hit some of these buckets real quick. We're actually going to re-zinc plate these, so fun little treat, good little bonus. I'll show you guys how I fix hardware, and this stuff should come out looking like chrome. It'll be really beautiful, and it will also end up matching the mounts really well when we're all done. So let's bust out the scale. All right guys, here we are with my trusty shipping scale. I use this thing almost daily. It is super accurate. Every time I take a package into, say, the UPS store, for example, and they reweigh my box that I'm shipping, it's always dead nuts. So we're gonna weigh everything that I have here because all of it's going to end up going on my RMZ. Where are we at? 1.14 ounces. All right, 1 pound, 1.4 ounces. So not bad, but now it's time to clean up the hardware. The titanium stuff that came out, this is a used tie bolt for the front engine mounts, still look really good. This, however, not so much. Lots of scale, pretty nasty. So we're gonna fix this up. We can't have bolts like this in my 2020 or any bike for that matter. We're going to do a better job than that. We're not just going to slap these back in the bike. So the first step is I need to bead blast this or do something like bead blasting that really gets the bolts finished nice first. That's the key to the whole thing. Then we'll go ahead and get everything degreased and into the plating tank, and I'll show you guys how to actually zinc plate your bolts right at home with this super cool kit. All right, there's our buddy, the dry blaster there. We have the cell phone video set up so I can try and show you guys what's going on in here. Definitely don't want to stick the M50 in there. So the next time you guys see these, they will look a little bit different. We're going to bring the finish up so that we can get a nice, even, beautiful looking zinc plate before we install these on the RMZ. All right, let's see how we did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a nut. Don't forget your nut. Okay, definitely a lot nicer than before, but right now they are raw steel, so they would rust really readily. So next step is to get these into the acetone bath. All right, into the bath they go. So we go ahead and use acetone on the raw steel as a degreaser. It's the last step before getting everything prepped and ready to go into these zinc plating tanks here. Guys, we are dialed in. These are looking better than new. Now I don't have to be embarrassed about sticking them in the old RMZ. So tomorrow we're gonna go out and shred. It's already dark. It's like, I don't know, 2:30, 3 p.m. California time. I hate it when they change the time and it gets dark so early. We are all set for tomorrow regardless. Next up, we ride. Alright guys, made it out to Club Moto. It's cold as shit. I'm gonna get geared up. Track's about to open. We'll get some motos in and then we'll go ahead and slap the engine mounts on the old RMZ. You ready? Let's do it. Who's this guy? Big Korea? This badass. He owns a clothing company. What's it called, dude?
Core Moto Crew, CMC.
Look at me when I'm talking to you, god damn it.
CMC.
CMC, Core Moto Crew?
Yes, sir.
You got any new drops coming soon?
Yeah, probably next week.
Next week? What are you gonna, shirts, beanies, hats, sweaters, what?
Some sweats, sweaters, and some tank tops for the ladies.
Alright.
And who knows what else.
Alright guys, I just went out on the track. It's almost perfect. It's just a little bit wet, so I'm gonna get warmed up and test the stock mounts for you before I go out there and slide sideways off the face of a jump. So it's almost perfect. It is so good. I forget how precise and almost perfect this RMZ chassis actually is when there are no bumps. And that's actually perfect to test against, because when there are bumps, and as is for most bikes, it gets a lot harder to ride, but it's especially true on the RMZ specifically, and I think the Honda as well. Just a really stiff chassis. So let's get out there, get some more laps in. We'll throw the GoPro on right now and just get a few more warm-up laps, and after that we'll go ahead and do a swap and see how it goes. So hopefully the track does get a little beat up, because if it doesn't, it won't be as good of a test, but we'll see what happens. All right, we got the stock mounts on there. Gonna give her a few more. Probably still a little bit wet, but man, I cannot believe how fun it was. It wasn't wet and sloppy wet, it was just wet like the dirt sticks to your bike, but holy shit, man, it's like Velcro. Guys, I absolutely love this motorcycle. It is so fun. All right, stock RMZ engine mounts. Take one. Worked out, because I don't think you guys can hear me as well on the actual track. So this bike stock is super precise, so it might be rigid, especially when the track gets chewed up, but part of being so rigid is also why it's so precise. You get a lot of feedback in the bars, the bike talks to you a lot, and what we're trying to do today is just kind of cut that down a little bit. The frame is so stiff and so precise and offers so much feedback that it can actually stand to, you know, loosen up in that area, so to speak. So I only got 2 laps in. Time for the kids to go out. I should have paid better attention to the clock, but we're going to talk more about it anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and put those suckers on. Alrighty, here we go. We got the FCPs on. Everything is set to proper spec. Torque wise, those were all 35. These were 35 both sides, and these were 28. These titanium bolts are not included. These are something I got after the fact. So if you guys are looking at this kit on the website, you won't get those, unfortunately. And I haven't used these in probably a year, which really only says I really like you guys, because I waited a really long time to use them. So I'm also, all jokes aside, really excited to try them again, because I do remember enjoying them quite a bit. But in reality, I mean, you start using them for a while, you kind of forget about them. So now these are supposed to allow the chassis to flex quite a bit better. You guys saw the difference in thickness already. Massive difference there. So let's see. Yeah, I can already feel the difference. There isn't a lot of drop in the track right now, but everything is softened. Like all the hits are softened. Jump landings are softened. Oh yeah. So much smoother. Way smoother, way smoother. Oh yeah. Overall, everything is way more compliant. Bump absorption, jump landing. I even feel like it bends into turns better. Honestly, the bike feels lighter. It lands like, it feels like a 125 when it hits the ground after a landing. I like it. Like that, where I came into the corner and it was really choppy, that feels so much better. Guys, the track is like freaking phenomenal, and I forgot how good these engine mounts are. Really excited to try them again, really excited to be riding. Put in 7-8 more laps, track's starting to get a little choppy, and that's when those things really start to work. So I'm so glad I waited to do this with you guys, because I'm having a great time right now. So right now, normally with the regular mounts, when I hit chop or land from jumps, the bike would be way more brutal, a lot more feedback, aka pain, or especially when you're fatigued, maybe a mistake that might get you into an accident. So right now I'm really enjoying those new mounts as the track starts to break in about midway point through the day, where it's rough but it's not crazy. So will they change your life? No. Will they make your life better? They certainly will. So guys, we got one more thing left to do. We have to go back to the shop, take the stock mounts, weigh them, find out what the weight difference is, and we'll see where we end up. As for me, I need to go ride some more, so I'll see you guys back at the shop. Alright guys, I'm back in the lab, and so you know what that means. It's time to weigh these old stock mounts. You guys already saw how much thicker the stock ones, especially in the front, were on the RMZ than the FCP mounts. And not that there's anything wrong with these, but they are also kind of boring. We're going to throw this stuff on the scale and see just how much weight the FCP mounts save over the stock stuff. Alright, as you can see, we are zeroed out, so bolt, hanger, 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 hanger and then a bunch of bolts. I got to do this kind of quickly because the scale will adjust and lock in the number. Alright, so there's all the stock stuff, and we end up at 1 pound, 7.2 ounces. And just to cross check it, zero it out, take everything off, we should end up with the same 1 pound, 7.2 ounces. There you have it, 1 pound, 7.2 ounces. Now, as an added bonus, I'm also running these titanium bolts on my RMZ. They don't come in the FCP kit, but they do hold the mounts on at the top here, back of the head stays. 0.8 ounces. And just for fun, probably a trivial amount, but these are the stock RMZ bolts for the same location. A little bit over an ounce heavier than the tie stuff, so that's actually kind of significant. 1.2 ounces over to be exact versus these tie bolts down here. Alright, so if the stock mounts were 1 pound, 7.2 ounces, and the FCPs were 1 pound, 1.4 ounces, then you're effectively saving about 6 ounces when you swap over, and that's about a third of a pound, 16 ounces to a pound, so there is a decent weight savings. And the RMZ kit used to save even more weight because the front engine mount bolts actually used to be titanium. Now the only titanium bolt in that FCP kit for the RMZ is this big guy here, and since this is the heaviest bolt in the whole kit anyways, that's actually a really good thing. However, you will still retain the old steel nut. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this pretty quick, pretty straightforward video. I owed you guys an RMZ video. It's been a really long time. Overall, it is a good mod. You get to save some weight and you get to get some better handling out of your RMZ. So it's a lot like everything else. You get good clicker settings, maybe an exhaust pipe, maybe some mapping, some engine mounts, and every step you go with your bike, no matter what brand it is, you end up with a better machine. All those things compound overall and just work way better. I'm glad I put mine back on. I'm glad we did the video. I'm glad I got to relive those sensations. I had hoped the track would have been a little bit more messed up, and even though it wasn't, I still felt the difference, so that's really cool. And so just to recap, chops are a lot easier on the hands and wrists. That's especially important towards the end of a moto, or when the track's getting beat up towards the end of the day, maybe late in a race when you could use that. Bike felt like it bent into turns or flexed into turns as a whole better into ruts. It also had the sensation of a lighter bike when it landed, so when I'd land from a jump, especially if I didn't jump something all the way, it just didn't thud as much. So overall, it's a good mod, and if you guys just so happen to end up on mXrevival.com for a set, I'd be pumped for the opportunity to help you out. Of course, if you have any additional questions, or maybe some things I didn't cover, go ahead and drop them in the comments below, or use the contact link on the website. And again, we're giving away a YZ250 and a bunch of other cool shit, so I hope you guys have a chance to enter on the website. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, don't forget to sub. I appreciate you guys, and in a couple weeks we will be back on the YZ build, the Thundercracker build, and I will see you then.